This is Josh Shepard with Family Theater Productions. Dean,
Hi,
wonderful to
Josh.
speak to you. Thank you.
Nice to speak to
What,
you too.
why do you think audiences connect so much with Hiccup's coming of age journey?
Well, I think there's something in there for all of the misfits, all the outsiders that have ever felt like they were a disappointment or they somehow didn't meet the expectations of family and friends and society. So that's one thing. I think that's what makes Hiccup resonate with so many. But also there's just a universal family dynamic going on here between the parent and the kid, where there is sort of finding an understanding and learning to see one another and kind of looking beyond the expectation, or at least in many cases with parents, like they did it a certain way, they expect their kids to do it a certain way, and there is something humbling about realizing that we're all individuals, and we do have a lot of strengths in disguise, even if they seem disappointing at first glance. So I think that's present in this story of a kid who leads with his heart and has a lot of empathy and compassion in a society that doesn't seem to appreciate those values.
The film's father-son dynamics, they come into focus, of course, with Hiccup and Stoic, but also with Snotlout's dad, Spiteleut, in this version. What was the purpose of elevating his role?
I think I like the idea that outsized parental expectation is a systemic problem on the island of Burke. So kids are all sort of dealing with living up to the lofty expectations of their parents, and going about it in different ways. I think Hiccup is marching to the beat of his own drum, whereas Snotlout is desperately trying to emulate his father, with very little praise for it. They both come to a moment of redemption.
Can you recall a moment on set when you thought, this sort of magic couldn't happen in animation?
I do. For me, that was the greatest educational experience, was realizing that as much as we prepared and built and designed costumes and rehearsed scenes, there came a moment when we were rolling cameras that the best thing I could do as a director was sit back, just hand the scene over to the actors, because they were so committed, because they really knew their characters inside and out. When you had them run a scene that I was quite familiar with, I'd written, suddenly there was a spontaneity and a cadence and a rhythm that would develop, and the scene became quite truthful, and that was a revelation for me.
That seems, especially in those dragon training scenes, and that amazing set y'all put together, that I see that there seems like a lot of interaction between the characters there.
Yes, yes, and they were all having a ball. I mean, honestly, to be able to build practical sets and with such love and detail, every texture, to be able to walk around and touch things and be in that space, it became a playground for the actors, and they absolutely loved it.
You've spent a decade in this world, and now you've returned, and fans like me, we couldn't be more grateful. Why do you love Burke so much?
For me, it's just wish fulfillment. As a kid, I loved fantasy. I loved dragons. I loved warriors walking around with swords, and it was something that I drew and I wrote about. And as an adult, being able to delve into this world with everything I've learned about storytelling, it's just a culmination of all the things I love. And the idea that Universal wanted to revisit this as a live action movie meant, I immediately put my hand up and said, consider me. I know I haven't made a live action movie, but I know where the heart is, and I know this world, and I know these characters. And it just became very exciting then to, how do we depict this in a real grounded way? How do we present a world of Burke that feels like you could visit it today, that dragons might still be roaming the earth somewhere.
So good. Well, thank you, Dean, for this film and for all your work on the franchise. I'm looking forward even to the next chapter.
Thank you very much. I'll get to
Have
work on it now.
a good